Guys, here we are on the range at People's Golf Club. 3 tips that's going to help you improve your hip rotation during the golf swing, and 3 tips that's going to obviously avoid those dreaded faults when you're standing on the first tee or any tee on the golf course and you're not entirely sure what's happening. So position before where you're standing over the golf ball, and what you're going to do is you're going to hit the ball as hard as you can. What happens is, while you're hitting the ball as hard as you can, what's happening with the hips move away from the golf ball, the upper body tilts away from the golf ball, and then what's going to happen is the club's going to hit the ground before the golf ball. So think about, this is going to cover the ability of the hips to rotate back and forth, our body's position at the posture at address, and the club face, how that regurgitates the position that we deliver the club all the time. So I see a lot of golfers who get into a position where they kind of float their hips through the shot. So if you visited my Instagram page, what we need to focus on when we're taking the club back is feel like this left hip goes down the way. So feel like put the club out in front of you, feel like we're nailing our screw into the ground. So feel like we're pushing the top end of the hammer into the ground. What that's going to do is it's going to let the left hip go down the way, the right hip goes up the way. I see a lot of golfers who get into a position where they take the club back, the hips stay level, and then from there, their centre moves away from the golf ball, their weight stays in their back foot. So what we need to feel like we're doing is put the club out in front of you, so feel that sensation of the left hip going down, the right hip going up. Obviously we have to remain centred over the golf ball while turning, so this left hip goes down the way, right shoulder goes up the way, or right hip goes up the way, and then what happens from there is the hips start to level out. Then it's the mirror image, the left hip goes up on the way forward, the right hip goes down. So the two main things that's going to create more speed into impact is rotation and pressure into the ground. So think about, if I kind of float into the shot where the hips stay level, I'm not going to create any of that pressure downward force or any rotation. So my hip rotation is distorted because I'm moving away from the golf ball. So think about, we get to take the club back, left hip goes down the way, so almost feel like you're pushing this left hip down the way, right hip goes up the way naturally. So from there, the hips level out, the left hip goes up the way, the right hip goes down the way on the way through. That's going to help you improve your rotation. So another thing to think about, if you were to put this on your hips, if I was to get my hips to turn level, if I was to sway away from the golf ball, then what's going to happen is this cane's not going to go down the way of this club. So think about, the cane goes down, or the club goes down, left hip goes down, right hip goes up. I'm going to create more rotation. Because my hips are on a slight angle, you're going to create more downward force because the right hip's coming down a little bit quicker, as opposed to if my hips were level, then it's not going to create a lot of momentum and impact. So right hip goes up, create more momentum, come back down, hit golf ball, then we're going to create more power. If I was to take the club back and my hips were to stay level, then it's going to be very hard to maintain my posture without lifting out. So if I was to take the club back, my hips stay level, then from there I'm going to have to stay behind the golf ball to try and hit it, if that makes sense. So we need to try and get our hips to tilt. Keep it really simple. Get the left hip to tilt down the way, the right hip goes up the way, but we're staying centred over the golf ball, we're rotating into the backswing, then rotating into the follow through. So second tip that I always see with golfers is poor posture. So what I mean by poor posture is they're not set up properly in the right angles that's going to provide a consistent delivery of the club each time. So I see quite a lot of golfers, so if the camera was the golf ball, I see the idea is we need to get our belt buckle to face in line with the golf ball on the ground. So that's going to help us maximise rotation and try and use the shoulders and hips a little bit better. So number one fault I see is when people get into a bit posture position, shoulders are slumped, what's going to happen is for them, so the idea is, remember, we've always got to get the belt buckle back towards the golf ball. That's kind of gauge I use to help improve rotation. The first thing is to early extend, and if you early extend, then that's going to get quite a high handle, the weight's going to stay on the back foot and you're not going to get full pressure into the forward foot. So we need to start with, feel like we're getting our belt buckle to face the golf ball. That's going to help us almost rotate away from the golf ball. So vice versa, if we get too tall, then our first reaction is to dip into it to try and get on a normal level. So think about, belt buckle faces the golf ball, that's going to help you trying to get into this better backswing position. And as we start down, belt buckle should go slightly down the way, and from there the belt buckle should go slightly up the way. So think of that movement. So belt buckle facing golf ball, hips go up slightly, belt buckle should go up. Get back down to the golf ball, hips should level out. Obviously the belt buckle should level out, go slightly lower than the right hip. Then we come back up and the belt buckle should go slightly higher. And that's because the left hip's going up as we go into the forward swing. So I think hips tilt slightly on the back swing and on the downswing, which is going to create more consistency and more rotational speed. So tip number three is when I see a lot of golfers who don't release the club properly because the club face is in the wrong position. So what I mean by the wrong position is they take the club back. So what's going to happen is they take the club back, the club face is open, the body stops turning. From there, we're going to have to speed the body up somehow and then slow the club head down, which gets the club in that open position. So the lower body moves first away from the golf ball. The club head is miles behind. So think about what the club face is doing and how that affects the overall pattern of the hip. So if I was to open the club and then from there somehow I've got to close it by flipping, which is not going to create a lot of, it's not going to engage the upper body, the lower body enough. So I think I almost want to take the club back slightly closed so the club face is matching our spine angle. We don't want to get open, we want to get almost in that position. So the leading edge is kind of pointing away from us, toes point to the sky. So from there, if we get the club in a closed position, it's easier to deliver the club into a better position because we know that if we turn the body, then the club face is going to be in an almost perfect position. So from club face, I'm going to have to engage the wrist to try and close the club face, and that's not going to create a lot of power. So almost in this position where we're somehow trying to close club face, or vice versa, so if you ever watch Dustin Johnson when his club face is slightly closed and how he holds off that release, that's because his club face is in a nice stable position. He's really trusting of his upper body to just kind of do the work and hold the release off. So club face in a stronger position, we can rotate into that position and impact. Club face is going to be in a much more consistent position, so almost in this position. So let's put these 3 tips into practice. So we want to tilt the hips, so get left hip working up the way, or down the way, sorry, right hip goes up. Get belt buckle to face the golf ball so we can rotate better into impact, and obviously get this club face in a more close position so the club face and the body can work at the same speed kind of thing, or the arms and the body. And from there we're just going to let loose. A little bit heavy, as you can see it's a little bit misty today. It's the first thing in the morning. So any thoughts on that video, post your comments below. Hip tilt, posture and club face alignment. Get commenting below, liking the video and subscribe to the channel.